This is the Grant Caldwell Report on current news, and tonight we are following a developing situation out of Pima County, Arizona, that is escalating fast and raising questions that demand answers. Before we go any further, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications on. This story is moving by the hour, and if there is a critical update overnight or tomorrow morning, you will not want to miss it. Here is what we know right now. Nancy Guthrie remains missing. As of this hour, she has not been located, and authorities have confirmed that the investigation is active, ongoing, and serious. This is no longer a routine missing person case. The response from law enforcement tells us that clearly, even if official statements have remained measured. Multiple national outlets, including CNN, CBS News, and USA Today, are reporting that Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Savannah Guthrie, was reported missing earlier this week. Since then, the situation has intensified rapidly. Tactical law enforcement units have been deployed, search operations have expanded, and investigators are now working through several possible scenarios behind closed doors. And here's where this story takes a turn. Despite the scale of the response, authorities have released very little detail about why the case escalated so quickly. There has been no public confirmation of suspects, no official statement identifying criminal responsibility, and no clear explanation for reports that briefly surfaced online suggesting ransom demands or targeted actions. Those reports exist, but they remain unconfirmed. That gap between what is happening and what is being said is exactly why this case has captured national attention. When law enforcement mobilizes at this level but speaks cautiously in public, it usually means one of two things. Either the facts are still being verified, or the stakes are higher than officials are ready to acknowledge. And that raises the next question. Why has law enforcement urged restraint while the media cycle accelerates? Why have some details been walked back while others are quietly confirmed? And why are investigators being so careful with their language in this case? Those questions matter, because assumptions can be dangerous, and speculation can distort reality. Tonight we are going to separate what is confirmed, what is alleged, and what remains unknown, step by step, without hype, without rumor, and without jumping ahead of the facts, because when someone is still missing, the truth matters more than ever. Here are the confirmed facts as they stand right now, based strictly on reporting from CNN, CBS News, and USA Today. Nancy Guthrie was officially reported missing in Pima County, Arizona, earlier this week. Law enforcement has confirmed that a missing person investigation was opened immediately and that the case was escalated beyond standard procedures within a short period of time. Authorities have not disputed that escalation, and they have not characterized this as a routine disappearance. According to CNN, local and federal law enforcement resources were brought in as the investigation progressed. Officials confirmed an expanded search operation and acknowledged that specialized units were involved at various points. While authorities did not detail the specific tactics used, they confirmed that the response level reflected the seriousness of the situation and the need to preserve evidence and public safety. CBS News reports that investigators are actively reviewing multiple leads and that search efforts have included both physical locations and digital evidence. Law enforcement has not released the precise timeline of Nancy Guthrie's last confirmed whereabouts, but they have confirmed that her disappearance triggered immediate concern from family members, which contributed to the rapid escalation of the case. It is also confirmed that Savannah Guthrie, a nationally recognized journalist, is Nancy Guthrie's daughter. Authorities have acknowledged that the public profile of the family has contributed to heightened media attention, but they have stressed that investigative decisions are being made based on facts and risk assessments, not publicity. Now let's address what has been specifically confirmed versus clarified. Law enforcement has not publicly named any suspects. They have not confirmed that a crime has occurred, and they have not issued an arrest warrant in connection with the case. Officials have also declined to confirm the authenticity of reports circulating online that reference ransom demands or direct threats. Those claims remain unverified and have not been endorsed by authorities. USA Today confirms that investigators have asked the public to avoid spreading rumors or unconfirmed information, noting that false details can interfere with active investigations. Officials have emphasized that tips should be directed through proper law enforcement channels rather than social media. What is confirmed is this. Nancy Guthrie is still missing. The investigation is active and ongoing. Multiple law enforcement agencies are involved. Authorities are deliberately limiting public disclosures, And that last point is critical, because it brings us to what does not yet add up. As this case has unfolded, the gap between confirmed information and circulating claims has widened. And that gap is where confusion, misinformation, and speculation tend to thrive. Let's be precise. There are claims moving online and appearing briefly in early headlines that suggest ransom demands, targeted activity, or specific criminal motives tied to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Those claims have drawn intense attention, but as of this moment, law enforcement has not publicly confirmed any of them. That distinction matters. Here is the reality. Investigators have acknowledged that they are exploring multiple possibilities. That is standard in serious missing person cases. What they have not done is validate any single theory publicly. No motive has been confirmed. No demand has been authenticated. No criminal classification has been officially announced. And yet, speculation continues. Some reports initially suggested communications consistent with a ransom scenario. Others implied targeted intent due to family prominence. Still others pointed to unrelated circumstances entirely. But in each instance, authorities either declined to comment or explicitly stated that such information could not be verified at this stage. This is where responsible reporting draws a hard line. Just because a claim exists does not mean it is credible. Just because a theory circulates does not mean investigators are acting on it. And just because a story moves fast does not mean the truth moves with it. One thing is clear, however. The pace and scale of the law enforcement response does not align with a simple misunderstanding or voluntary disappearance. That does not mean a crime has been confirmed, but it does indicate concern levels that go beyond routine. That contrast is important. When authorities escalate quietly while limiting public detail, it often signals one of two realities. Either the facts are still being verified with high stakes attached, or disclosure itself could compromise the investigation. In both scenarios, silence is strategic, not accidental. Another point worth addressing directly. The involvement of Savannah Guthrie has fueled assumptions about special treatment or political sensitivity. Law enforcement has pushed back on that notion, stating that investigative steps are driven by risk assessment and evidence, not media pressure. Still, perception matters, and right now, the perception gap between what people are being told and what they believe is happening continues to widen. So here is where we land in this section. Claims exist. None of the most serious ones are confirmed. Authorities are intentionally cautious. The situation remains unresolved, and that brings us to the most important question of all. Who is accountable for clarity when the public is left filling in the blanks? As we close tonight, let's reset the focus on what matters most. A person is still missing, and the truth has not yet fully surfaced. Nancy Guthrie has not been located. That remains the central fact. Everything else, the theories, the commentary, the online noise, is secondary to that reality. Law enforcement in Pima County, Arizona continues to treat this as a serious, active investigation, and their deliberate pace tells us something important. This case is not over, and it is not simple. What we've seen over the past several days is a familiar pattern, a fast-moving story, limited official statements, a surge of speculation filling the silence, and a public left trying to piece together fragments in real time. That environment creates pressure on investigators, on families, and on the media itself. Here's what deserves close attention going forward. First, any official confirmation from law enforcement regarding classification of the case. If authorities move from cautious language to more definitive statements, that will mark a critical shift. Second, any formal clarification regarding the unverified claims that have circulated. Whether those claims are confirmed, denied, or dismissed outright will significantly shape public understanding of what actually occurred. Third, the timeline. Investigators have been careful not to release detailed movement or location data. When that information becomes public, and it eventually will, it will likely answer more questions than any speculation ever could. And finally, accountability. Not in the sense of blame, but in clarity. When a case commands national attention, transparency matters. That does not mean jeopardizing an investigation. It means explaining what can be explained, when it can be explained, so that trust does not erode in the absence of information. Tonight, we've separated fact from claim. We've resisted the urge to jump ahead of evidence, and we've kept the focus where it belongs, on verified reporting and responsible analysis. This is the Grant Caldwell Report. We don't rush to conclusions, we don't inflate rumors, and we don't lose sight of the human reality behind the headlines. If you want to stay informed as this story develops, like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on. When there is a confirmed update, not speculation, not noise, you will hear it here. We will continue following the facts. We will continue asking the necessary questions. And we will continue updating you as soon as verified information becomes available. Good night, and we'll be watching this closely.